So welcome everybody. My name is April Garrett. I am the publisher of Seniors Blue Book. Thank you so much for joining our SBB University today. It is brought to you by Seniors Blue Book. If you are not familiar with the Seniors Blue Book, we are a free resource to the community that's specifically designed for seniors, caregivers, and senior healthcare professionals. If you are not familiar with our guides, they are available at over 1,400 locations throughout the 5-county area, completely free. They're also available at Walgreens, but you can also reach out to us at any point at seniorsbluebook.com or my phone number that I have shared up on the screen at 412-551-5951 to get a copy. Our website, I just want to share with you, is filled with all of the information that you can find inside of our guides. We also have an events calendar online, educational articles, and you can also contact us at the phone number at the 551-5951 number at any point. We're happy to navigate anything that you could be going through. We at Seniors Blue Book did decide to start SBB University last month. So as of right now, we have them going on a monthly rotation virtually every Thursday of the month from 1 to 3. The purpose is really to help seniors and caregivers throughout the area find and locate resources, educate them on a wide variety of topics for aging well, planning ahead, and assist them with anything they could be going through. As of right now, like I said, they're held virtually, but our plan is to start having them open up as things begin to open up as live events that will be held throughout the 5-county area. So today, our Seniors Blue Book University topic is caregiver support and resources. As we all know, caregiving is tough. We have an entire 242-page book designated to it. So if it wasn't hard, we certainly wouldn't have a book of that size. But I'm really excited for today's event. We have a lot of great speakers lined up, and we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, ranging everything from paperwork necessary for the care recipients with elder law, many options that there are available for in-home care assistance and finding ways to pay for it, the importance of caregiver self-care, which is huge, as well as we are going to explore pain management alternatives with the healing plant of medical marijuana. I want to give a heads up that we are recording this seminar. Only the panelists are going to appear on video, and we'll have the video recording. So if you miss part of if you have to step away from your desktop at any point, we are going to record this and we'll have it shared with the group afterwards. I am going to send out to everyone a post-event survey as well, if you would kindly fill that out, because we are trying to just kind of gauge what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see. It would certainly be helpful to us with future events. So our speakers today, they're going to get 10 minutes to present on their topic, and we'll follow it by an open question and answer session that you can either submit your questions through the chat feature, or if you want to unmute, you could just raise your hand and we can unmute you to ask your question. First off, we're going to have attorney Roxanne Julian with Seckler Law Firm, followed by Jeff Kozar, who's the owner of Senior Helpers of Southwestern Pittsburgh, Kathy Tanaka, who is a medical social service team member with Three Rivers Hospice and Family Home Health. We have Lisa Story, the founder of Hope Grows. Maureen Siriani, if I'm saying it right, I hope Maureen, she's the community outreach and marketing specialist with Country Meadows Retirement Community. We also have Dr. Richard Greer, who is the pharmacy director with Salivo Wellness. So without further ado, I'm going to start with Roxanne. I'm going to stop my share on my screen, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Roxanne.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Roxanne Julian, and I'm with Seckler Law Firm. We are an elder law firm, and a lot of people kind of wonder, well, what does that mean? What is an elder law firm? Basically, they are attorneys like myself and Tim who have specialized in areas affecting seniors and their families. We have an estate planning part of the law firm where we help families navigate through doing all of their estate planning documents so that they can make the decisions before things happen. We also help families apply for Medicaid when someone in the family is requiring skilled nursing services. A little bit about my background is I was a registered nurse for a number of years, and then I went back to law school. I have experience working in skilled nursing homes. So I understand what family members and the residents are going through. So that definitely has helped in my practice of law. A few of the things that I wanted to touch on that I see every day in my practice are things that are very important. And I kind of want to talk about them as myth busters. So a lot of people call in and they say, well, I heard this or I heard that. And we do a lot of myth busting at secular law firms. So the first myth buster is, I don't really need a financial power of attorney at this time because I can still make my own decisions. Well, I'd like to bust that myth because everyone over the age of 18 should have a valid financial power of attorney document. It's very important that you go to a law firm who understands the significance of the document because the documents can vary. We see people that have done them online, for example, on LegalZoom. And when it comes to the context of our law firm trying to do things to achieve Medicaid eligibility, if the power of attorney document is not worded correctly, for example, if it has limited gifting language, then it limits the family to only moving at this point in time up to $15,000 a year. So unless the individual has the mental capacity to meet with us and redo their financial power of attorney, we're very limited and according to the document that was not done properly. So just like many people hear about limited tort for car insurance, that's not a good idea. Same thing with a financial power of attorney. You don't want one that has limited gifting language. So the second myth that I hear from a lot of seniors is that, well, if I do need long-term care down the road, I'll be fine because I have Medicare and I also have a very good supplemental insurance policy. Well, to bust that myth, that is not true. As many people find out, Medicare only pays for skilled nursing care for 20 days and then partially up to 80 days if the resident is participating in a treatment plan and participating in physical therapy. So many times our law firm gets a phone call from the family when they speak with the social worker and they learn that, oh my goodness, Medicare is going to stop paying next week. Now what do we do? And they realize they have to pay privately for skilled nursing care. Another myth I hear from families is, well, it's better to give away my money now or put the house in the kids' names. And that's another myth that I'd like to bust and say, just, it's never a good idea. We don't recommend it. And there's a few reasons why. When one is applying for Medicaid to pay for long-term care, any money, including property, that is given to someone without receiving fair market value in return is considered a gift, and as such, a penalty is imposed. To give you an example, for every $10,000 that one gives away, that's a 1-month penalty period that Medicaid would not pay for care. So just yesterday, I was talking to an individual who had reached out to another law firm that did not specialize in elder law, and they were told to gift $200,000 to the son. Both parents are right now in assisted living, so the chances are in the next 5 years that one of them may need to apply for Medicaid. So I explained that I would not recommend that strategy because they would be imposing upon themselves a 20-month penalty period if mom or dad would need to apply for Medicaid within the next 5 years. So when in doubt, don't gift, just call an elder law attorney and get some advice before you do that. So a lot of what we do is we get calls from families when someone is looking at going into a nursing home and they realize that they're over-resourced. So sometimes they will misunderstand the term spend down, and they'll say, well, we were told we had to spend down these additional resources. So they start spending money away or giving it away. And really, that's not what you want to do. It's best to call an elder law firm, because we can put a best strategy in place for your family. We can conserve the money. If there's a living spouse, we can buy what's called an annuity to preserve the money and have it paid back to the spouse. There are many things that we can do. Don't just try to go it alone and start spending down your money, because our goal is to give you the best assistance possible so that your loved one will qualify for Medicaid sooner rather than later to pay for their long-term care. Does anyone have any questions at this point? One thing I would like to mention is we have many people that are caring for their families at home, and so they are taking money out of their parents' bank account and writing checks to themselves, for example. Rather than do that, Medicaid may look at those checks as gifts, or if they're moving money from the parents' account into their account, thinking, well, it's okay because I'm taking mom and dad to their doctor's appointments, or I'm buying their groceries, or I'm providing personal assistance at home. The better option is to call an elder law firm, and we will draft what's called a caregiver agreement. So the caregiver agreement can list more than one person, whoever in the family, or it can be someone not related, whoever's providing care for that person in their home. We can have it documented. Then any payments made to those individuals are going to be legitimate, and they are not going to be looked at as potential gifts by Medicaid.
Thanks, Roxanne. Does anyone have any questions? They can enter it into the chat, or you can just kind of wave your hand, although I'm not seeing everybody. So if you're waving your hand, maybe just go over chat, because I can't see everyone and I can't figure out how to do it. And I just want to briefly share too that I am going to share with everybody after this all of the speakers' contact information, website, email, phone number. So if you do have any questions after this, you can follow up with them, or you can follow up with me, and I'm happy to connect you. Okay, thanks so much, Roxanne. Next, we have Jeff Kozar, who's the owner of Senior Helpers of Southwest Pittsburgh. I'm going to unmute you, Jeff. Whoops. And I think you wanted to share your screen.
All right. Can everybody hear me? April, we good?
Yes, we're good.
All right. I have to check. I'm not the Zoom master, so sometimes I have to kind of, check myself. My name's Jeff Kozar, and I am really excited to be with you all here today. I have been looking forward to this ever since April invited me to join you all today. So thank you, April. And thank you everybody in advance for listening to my presentation. It's going to seem like I'm flying through this because I might have made too many slides, but I promise you we'll get through it. If anyone has a question, please feel free to interrupt. April, if you can watch the chat box for me, that'd be great. And beyond that, I'm gonna dig right in here. Let's talk about, during this presentation very quickly, and we'll devote equal amounts of time, but senior in-home care types, financing for senior care, and the benefits of senior care when it's in-home. And I've got to move there we go. I had everybody's beautiful face blocking my verbiage, and I don't have these slides memorized. I don't like memorizing things. I'm lazy. But non-medical in-home senior care is simply assisting older adults or disabled persons And I want to stress the disabled persons because there are really no age beginnings or caps. We can go down, my agency goes down to 18, and we can go as high as you want. We have a client who is 97 years old, and she is so incredibly sweet and lovable. So really, there are no age limits other than that bottom end at the very youngest. And we help these folks perform their activities of daily living, ADLs as they're called, and instrumental activities of daily living. The types of senior care services: there's companion care, which is just that. A lot of these are self-explanatory, so I will skip the narrative around them unless any questions come up. And of course, the slides are available to anybody that wants them to be sent. Always happy to do that. Companion care is really just being a companion. Personal care is when we get involved with doing ADLs, which are the activities of daily living: toileting, dressing, bathing, light housekeeping, things like that. IADLs, instrumental activities of daily living, are more the type of responsibilities that teenagers start to embark on. That's the way I think of it, such as doing your monthly finances, shopping, keeping appointments. But it really became easy to remember when I thought about it, or read a definition that said these are more like the things that we would be teaching our teenagers to do, preparing them for adulthood. Post-surgical care is a very important one. A lot of people cannot do the things they normally do when they're recuperating. Hip replacements are a great example. You can't get up and take care of your dog. You can't go to the fridge. Sometimes you need help grooming, bathing, dressing. Respite care is when we come in and we give the primary caregiver a break. A lot of times we see this in hospice care. The hospice care requires a lot of the family members to be there all the time, and they just run themselves out of energy. So we can come in and give them a break. They need sleep. They need to get out and go to work. They need to get out and do shopping. We can do a wellness watch, which is a phone call or a 1-hour visit every week. Sometimes this is really good when offspring or children are living far away. One of my clients has a son who engaged me from Reno, Nevada. So, this is not uncommon. Oftentimes the phone call and the visit will be alternated every other week. One week we pop in on Wednesday. It's a predetermined time. So one week we may pop in on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. The next week we may do a phone call. There's a peace of mind visit. It's a 1-hour visit, 5 to 7 days a week. These are a little expensive. They're priced a little more expensive because it's difficult to get a caregiver to do that. So we have to pay them to agree to do this. A lot of times it's more financially valuable just to pay for the minimum 3 hours to go in. Concierge care is where an individual or a facility pays a monthly subscription for X number of hours of care, and it's usually set up during a predetermined window of availability. Adult daycare is something that the space is becoming very fascinated with right now. The little clip art, the little JPEG you're looking at on the slide is a picture of Town Square, which is the concept that was originated by the Senior Helpers franchise. And they've got a lot of nostalgic areas inside of the large facility. They're usually 10,000 square feet, and they have a library, they have a theater, they have a gas station like you see right there with that 56 Chevy. I was there and got a picture in front of that Chevy, and I think it's a marvelous idea. But these are a lot of times very helpful for people that are beginning to move into a dementia type of state, because it's good as far as jogging memories about the things that were important to them. We also do Alzheimer's and dementia care, and these are targeted to the appropriate disease states. We do Parkinson's care. We do hospice care, as I mentioned before, very similar to respite care. We do 24/7 care, meaning we have caregivers around the clock in a location for a variety of different reasons. These are usually 8 to 12-hour shifts, depending upon what we can fit together and the way the puzzle pieces come together. And there's also an ability to do live-in care. Some of the things we do when we're with our clients: personal hygiene, bathing, assisting with ambulation. Want to see how I'm doing on time. Transfer care, toileting, incontinence care, grooming, dressing, companionship, movies, TV, laundry, light housekeeping, pet care, meal prep, transportation. We'll drive your loved one to the store, to their appointments. We do motor vehicle background checks on all of our caregivers so that we employ only the most trustworthy. Household management, such as finances and anything else that would fall under that. Financial options for senior in-home care. You've got private pay, which tends to be the bulk of it. And the way this is usually financed by the family or by the client, they use their assets. They pull it from savings or checking. They can pull it from their investments. They can take a disbursement from their 401k. Sometimes the family will kick in and help. You know, everybody together pulls their resources. Liquidation of assets. Maybe the vacation home is no longer needed. Maybe there's a adult toy like a boat or a vehicle or a hunting camp or a vacation home that's not needed. A lot of times people will tap into the equity in their home. Again, we kind of talked a little bit earlier about collective sibling contributions. Reverse mortgages. When I first saw reverse mortgages, I thought, oh, that has a red flag all over it. But actually, they're not. We partner, Senior Helpers partners with one, and if anyone wants information, I can give you that later. But the one with Tom Selleck is very trustworthy, and we vetted it, and it's not a gimmick. Some people rely on annuities. Other people rely on Medicare Advantage. Some people have private insurance, long-term care insurance. Public assistance might consist of state health insurance assistance programs, Medicaid. You can get in touch with the area agency on aging. There's PACE programs that are available that can help. There's home and community-based services that can help. And there's the VA Aid and Attendance. The Aid and Attendance program is for veterans or surviving spouses who were in the service for 90 days or longer and who had at least 1 day of active wartime service. And this program could be as valuable as, I believe the new figure is $2,266 a month. And that can really help pay for in-home care. This is for disabled veterans or surviving spouses who need someone to come into the home to help with the ADLs. In other words, they have no alternative. They can't get out of bed. They can't bathe, shower, dress, make their own meals. This is for somebody to come into the home and help. Let's talk about the benefits of senior in-home care. And I'm a strong believer in this. This is really important as far as contributing to the morbidity, the happiness, the quality of life of the senior. This is what they want. So this satisfied their needs and wants. It contributes to a better quality of life. You know, everybody says there's no place like home. And I'll tell you, some nights I just am so happy to get home and scratch my dog's head and have a bottle of water and watch the news. Well, okay, maybe not so much watching the news, but you know what I mean. It keeps seniors engaged and active, especially with COVID shutdowns. They can't see their loved ones. They can't see their outside friends. They're confined to what's inside the facility. There's a lowered overall safety risk in the home, okay, because there are people checking and watching to make sure that they're safe and that they're in a good environment. There's enhanced therapy adherence for the obvious reason that there's a lot of people who can remind them when they're at home. There's a reduced hospital readmission rate, which is huge. That alone reduces healthcare costs. It identifies and it fills in gaps in their care. When there's all those sets of eyes on the senior, everybody can all take a look at the situation, and if something's out of line, they can say, hey, we got to fix this. Why is that carpet in the way? That's going to trip Aunt Betty. It's also good for appointment follow-up. It reduces the family, the primary caregiver's stress, and it reduces the senior stress. That's it. How'd I do on time? A little bit over, I'm sorry. Any questions?
I actually have a question, Jeff. I got a call 2 days ago from our referral line, and it was a gentleman whose father was a veteran. He's 91, and he just got discharged from the hospital, from the VA hospital. So he wasn't a disabled veteran, but can this guy qualify for any of the aid and attendance, or do they have to be disabled through like their service?
Well, if he's not able to do his ADLs, he's considered disabled.
Okay.
So yeah, he qualifies.
Okay.
If he needs help, as long as it's not purely companion care, meaning somebody come over, and chat with him and watch TV. If he needs help keeping appointments and getting dressed and grooming, and I'd say at 91, that's highly likely.
Yeah.
Highly likely. And I've shared with you that link I have where they can go on and they can work directly with aidandattendance.com, and they can help them to navigate the process. The process can be rather confusing and tedious and lengthy without someone like aidandattendance.com to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a good option, is have him get involved in that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions? Oh, there's a question on chat.
Can you see it? I cannot.
Yes, it says, hello, Jeff. I'm a massage therapist. I specialize in elder care. I see there are several areas where my services can be a serious benefit to your clients. A particular interest, are you memory care, respite care, or one of your other programs? I think he just wants to connect with you, so I can share with you his information.
That would be marvelous. Very, very open to that. Yes. Very open to that.
From Sydney McDonald. How are you, Sydney? Okay, so we do have another question. The biggest thing is, where do we start? My mom is coming home from the hospital and will need medical care for a few weeks for ADLs, etc. But will insurance pay, or how do we know who to contact?
Well, for reimbursement, you have to go through your insurance company. So get in touch with them immediately and see if the senior in-home care is covered. Great idea, great question. After that, after you determine whether it's covered or not, then I would start looking at senior in-home care agencies. The logical step after the initial connection on the phone, and if you determine that you like and you trust the agency, 9 times out of 10, they must come in and meet with you so that they can see the environment, meet the client, and then you as the primary caregiver, the client, and the agency together craft and create the care plan, which includes number of hours, days of the week, when it's going to start, the time, when it's going to end, but most importantly, what the activities of daily living are going to look like. And you can actually time them that every Tuesday and Thursday we give Uncle Ned a shower. Every Wednesday we make sure that Uncle Ned's dog is getting walked, things like that. So that in-home, we call it an in-home visit, an in-home assessment, but that's a really important link in pulling everything all together. I hope that answers the question.
Does that answer the question, Wendy? I think the first thing, like Jeff said, is to just flip over the insurance card, call that number, and see what coverage is available first. How long does it generally take to get organized?
To get
Care in the home, I'm assuming.
care in the home, we get calls from people that want us to start that day. That's really hard because I need to schedule the in-home assessment. I've discovered that it's the kiss of death to try and do it without, because we have to know what we're going to be providing for the client. So you've got at least 24 hours before I can get out and do an assessment, and then probably 24 to 48 before we can get the schedule put together, pulling all the caregivers together, moving all the pieces of the puzzle into place. All said and done, a minimum of 48 hours. But the more time you give, the easier my life is and the less sleep I lose. Good question. Thank you for asking the questions.
Anybody else have questions for Jeff? Okay. I need you to not, or I guess disable your screen so we don't see your screen anymore. And we're going to go to Kathy Tanaka, who is with Three Rivers Hospice and Family Home Health. Nice to meet you, Kathy. I've never met you personally, but it's nice to meet you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Kathy Tanaka. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and have been in home care and healthcare for many, many years. I started in acute care hospital and have been with Three Rivers and Family Home Health for probably about 16 years now. So I've been around. And today I'm going to speak about home care, palliative care, and hospice. So I'm with Quality Life Services, and we are covered under your insurance. So relating to Wendy's question, we would probably be your first line as far as home care. We follow federal guidelines, and as I said, paid for through your health insurance. Home care is there to provide training, education, and direct services for people who are just coming home from the hospital or have had a medical incident. It's a time all of us realize that, or probably have experienced, going to a doctor's office or leaving a healthcare facility and have given or gotten instructions on what we are to do when we get home, and how many times when we get home those instructions don't make sense to us or we have questions. So what home care does is come into your home and provide that understanding. They receive basic information from your physician, and then they gather further information from your own personal needs. They're going to question you to develop a personal plan for you. They're going to address your medical condition, whatever it is. They're going to help train you or your caregiver on care, such as diabetic education, medications, cardiac care. They're also going to make sure your medication regime is as the doctor prescribed. You'll also have access to certified nurses' aides that'll help with personal care. Along with that, there's physical therapy. Physical therapy is often very important after the person has been discharged following surgery. Jeff spoke of hip replacements. They'll help in retraining ambulation, help with steps mobility, even bed mobility. And they will help adjust medical devices such as your walkers and your wheelchairs, teach you how to use them in the proper way. You'll also have occupational therapists, and people will ask, what does the occupational therapist do? They help you learn how to do those activities of daily living in the most safe way. They also help you with problem solving. What are you going to do if this happens? How are you going to manage this? Another therapist or another discipline involved is the speech therapist. They're going to help you not only with speech, but also people that come home, especially after a stroke, that have swallowing difficulties. They're going to be talking about the consistency of what you take in, both solid and liquids. That's very, very important. You want to protect yourself against aspiration pneumonia and other problems. Dietitians are also available to help set up a diet, the cardiac diet, the diabetic diets, help people, your caregivers, and you know how to prepare the things that are good for you, that are helpful to you. You also have social workers available. They're going to sit and listen um, and help you connect with those community services like Jeff's, like Roxanne. There's so many questions we don't think about. And I've had some very personal experiences that, as much as I know and I preach to everybody else, there's things I don't do that I should have, and I've found it dangerous when crises happen. So they also, home care also helps with supplies and equipment, such as catheter care kits, dressings for wounds. Those kind of things are also provided through home care. Another level that's under home care that provides extra level of support is palliative care. Palliative care is additional resources to help people that are dealing with very serious illnesses. It provides care along with curative care. It provides an interdisciplinary team to help the family and caregivers, patients, to deal with their changing situation. And it helps them talk about what their possible care choices are for future treatment. And the last service that I want to talk about, which is very near and dear to my heart, is hospice care. It is an interdisciplinary team that provides support to the patient and the family and caregiver. The goal is to maximize their quality of life and provide a special way of caring for people with a life-threatening illness. We listen. We try to educate on the disease progression, and we help the family and the person through the end of life needs. The big thing is listening to where people are at this time in the disease process. The team consists of a skilled nurse, a social worker, a certified nurse's aide, bereavement counselor, spiritual counselor, equipment, and supplies. We do medication for comfort and equipment. We provide a little bit more equipment and supplies than they do under home care. We also do medications for comfort, which is really important. We also, as Jeff mentioned, provide respite. Our respite care is usually provided in a facility. We're not as fortunate to provide it within the home, um, but it helps when people need to, uh, when caregivers need relief, respite. Also, we provide respite when we've provided for families that want to go on a vacation or that need to go to a special event, somebody's graduation or a wedding or something. We will provide uh, respite for that. We also, one of my favorite things, as I said earlier, we want to provide the highest quality of life for people at this stage. And we at Quality Life Services have what we call Don't Stop Dreaming, where we try to provide people with dreams that they have. We had a young father who was dying of cancer and wanted to take his children to Disney World. We made arrangements, got them to Disney World, and celebrated while he still could. We also, most recently, had a 90-year-old man who had this dream to go up in a hot air balloon. Well, we provided him with the ability, and our nurse took him up in a hot air balloon. So we've done lots of fun things for people. The goal is to help them live whatever time they have in the most beneficial way. Some of the indicators for hospice is if the person has frequent hospitalizations and visits to the emergency room over the past 6 months that are due to a chronic condition. They also may have uncontrollable symptoms despite all the medical treatment that is provided. Those symptoms are still not controlled. There's a functional decline. The person's mobility, they have frequent falls, there's decline in their food intake, skin breakdown. People also may start questioning the aggressive treatment. They no longer want the aggressive treatment for some kind of illness. We also have volunteers in our program that go out and do visits. They help with crafts, they write letters, they read, they visit as a companion. We do provide services in the home, and we go into care facilities also. It depends on where you need your care. As I said, we're open. We do need for all of our services, it is a physician's order. We will work with your physician. All the services, we keep close communication and feedback to your physician. And the family is always part of the service. So, are there any questions?